Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the team that I used to hit veteran rank in Season 10 of Go Battle League. This is the Triple Dark team featuring Poison Jab, Alolan Muck, Hyper Beam Obstagoon, and Scrafty. I did run the line last season as well, but this time I'm running Sludge Wave over Acid Spray on Alolan Muck. This team does have its fair share of weaknesses, especially Nidoqueen and Escavalier, but I was able to go on a 9-1 run with the line to hit veteran. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and let's take a look at the Triple Dark team in action in the Open Ultra League. Hopping to the first match and picking up a pretty decent lead, we have Gyarados into our Alolan Muck. Now, even though this team is a Triple Dark team, it still does play like an ABB style team, where the two back Pokemon are weak to Charm and Fighting, and Alolan Muck are our answer to both. So we're going to land the Dark Pulse, and now we're going to save switch into the Obstagoon. And the opponent is not switching out, which tells me they may not have a great response to our Obstagoon, and if that's the case, then Scrafty should be in a fantastic position to close in the endgame. Night Slash will take them out. We'll have to see what they do bring in. They are waiting here, and they bring in their own Obstagoon. This is where not having Cross Chop is a little unfortunate, but I do like Hyper Beam since Obstagoon is our save switch, and Hyper Beam is very useful against Talonflame counter swaps. Unfortunately, the Obstagoon is able to farm down and they leave with a ton of energy. I'm going to bring in the Alolan Muck to force them to throw some energy, and then it's going to be all up to Scrafty to try and close the match. We're going to save the Alolan Muck for a potential sack swap in the endgame. We're going to bring in Scrafty, and we are going to try and farm down. Unfortunately, the Obstagoon is able to reach a second Cross Chop. I can't afford to use the second shield without knowing what's in back, and it is a Swampert. With one shield up on their end, we are not going to be baiting. We are going straight for the foul play, and we're able to land it. The opponent builds up enough for an Earthquake. If they Earthquake, they win, but I have to call it. It's just the Hydro Cannon, so that is an important no shield for us. We're going to shield up after this, and now the Wincon is going to be trying to catch a Hydro Cannon onto the Alolan Muck. I am just going to go straight Power Up Punch at this point. I'm expecting they will shield anyway. We have to count very carefully, and we're able to catch onto the Alolan Muck. That is absolutely huge. Now we should be able to reach the Power Up Punch versus the Swampert, but my opponent does an amazing catch. They catch the Power Up Punch onto the Obstagoon. It takes out the Obstagoon. Scrafty able to still counter down, and we are able to clutch out a very narrow victory. Hopping into the next match and picking up a pretty neutral lead, Alolan Muck into Articuno. As with most flyer leads with this team, I'm not going to switch out right away. I am going to try and get some damage off first, and then I am going to swap. Unfortunately, Articuno does what Articuno does best, debuffing our attack, but we hit back hard with the Sludge Wave, and now we are going to save switch into Obstagoon. We will have to eat an Icy Wind, which will debuff us, which is unfortunate, but the Articuno is staying in. And Articuno staying in this matchup has me hopeful that they could be weak to Obstagoon in the back. And they bring in a Shadow Lapras, so they are weak to Obstagoon in the back. And teams that are weak to Obstagoon are typically weak to Scrafty. My guess is that this is probably the Oxford U double ice line, consisting of Articuno, Lapras, and a Giratina in the back. And that's one thing I really love about this team, is if they have a Psychic type or a Ghost type like Giratina, you have a big advantage in the match because your whole team does very, very well against that Pokemon. We are going to shield up. The Shadow Surf would do more than any single move from the Giratina, and there it is. They tried to hide the Giratina in back. They saw the two Dark types. They're thinking there's no way there's a third, but we brought a third. We are down a shield, which does make this matchup a little more difficult than it normally is, but XL Scrafty is an absolute beast. The Shadow Claws are resisted, so they're not applying a lot of fast move pressure, and we have bulk for days. I will probably need to try and catch a move if possible. I do have the 1 HP Goon as an option, so we count to 5, and we're able to catch the move. So we're able to use that 1 HP Goon and put it to good use. I'm expecting them to try and catch back, so as you see there, I don't throw the foul play. I actually pause for just a moment. They switch, we're able to counter them down, and now from here, this game is going to be over, as we will be able to reach the 2 foul plays here, and the opponent at this point recognizes that it's over, they don't shield, and that is a good game. Alright, hopping into the next match, we have Alolan Muck into Togekiss. This is why we have Poison Jab, we're able to hit them for super effective, and they save switch into a Snarl Alolan Muck. Now Snarl Alolan Muck is doing basically no fast move pressure, but Sludge Wave hits hard even on a bulky Pokemon like Scrafty. So if I want to maintain switch, I am actually going to need to commit a shield, which is a little unfortunate because being down shields can get a little rough in the end game. We're going to go for the Power Up Punch. We will need to commit the shield. We can farm down, but even double boosted, our energy isn't particularly useful against the Togekiss. So we do farm down. They're going to be bringing Togekiss back in. Those charms are double super effective, so we are going to be going down very quickly. We go for the Foul Play. Honestly, the Foul Play still does okay damage. We bring in the Alolan Muck, and they have Empoleon in the back. So they were double weak to dark type counter users in the back, and we are now able to take advantage. We are going to shield up the Hydro Cannon, and we're going for the Night Slash, hoping for the boost here. The Empoleon has to shield absolutely everything. We are going to very carefully time our charge moves, so we're only giving them one free turn of energy every time we throw. They actually decide to let it go. I'm recognizing that they actually want to farm me down with the Togekiss. So if you notice there, I stopped attacking to burn my switch clock. So now I can throw a Night Slash. My clock is up. We come back in with the Alolan Muck. We're able to Poison Jab all the way down. And that is a good game. And that is 3-0 this set. Game 4, our opponent is bringing some extreme spice in Shadow Electivire. We save switch into the Obstagoon and we're met with Articuno. Now Articuno has a pretty neutral matchup versus Obstagoon, so if this is their best response to Obstagoon, I'm hopeful that Scrafty will have a lot of play in the endgame. Now, the opposing Articuno makes a pretty big misplay here. They actually overfarm, so by not throwing their Icy Wind as soon as they get to it, I'm actually able to land 2 Night Slashes before they debuff me, and that damage is very, very useful in winning this fight. We can tank another Icy Wind, and now we're going for the Night Slash. This will only be doing half the damage of the first one, but since it's so low, the Night Slash plus 2 counters is able to take them out, and we win that matchup on very low HP. They bring back in the Electivire to farm down, and I don't want to give them the ability to farm, so we're going to Night Slash, we're going to save the Obstagoon for a potential sack swap in the endgame, and bring in Scrafty. I'm counting on the fact that they hopefully don't have a hard punish, and they have Blastoise. So Blastoise is a pretty cool pick. It's very bulky, but again, pretty neutral matchup versus Scrafty here. And we are able to land the Foul Play, which is nice. And here I'm thinking they have 2 shields. They have to shield. We are going to go for the bait. This is a really safe bait. But the Mad Lad calls the bait. Very nicely done. And they should be at the back-to-back Hydro Cannons. First one comes through. Second one, I actually am going to commit the shield to preserve the Scrafty. And I believe my clock should be up, so we're going to aggressive swap into the Muck and try and Poison Jab them down. Yes, we're able to do so. And now we're just going for fast move pressure on the Electivire. The Electivire is low, and they can only hold 2 wild charges at a time. First wild charge comes through, doesn't even take out the Alolan Muck. Alolan Muck too tanky. We're able to survive the Spice Lord, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match of the first set, pretty good lead. Clefable on the lead. They save switch Obstagoon, and we have Scrafty to counter swap. And you absolutely love to see this if you're the Scrafty user. We are going to be able to go for the Power Up Punch, and after that, we are just going to be able to farm down here. Power Up Punch does get the shield, which is very nice. They're trying to reach another one, and this is a tough call to make, but I think my Scrafty can tank it. Cross Chop, Scrafty tanks the Cross Chop, and we are able to win not just switch advantage, but shield advantage as well. Scrafty so bulky. You love to see it. We are coming in right away with the Muck, and they have Swampert in the back. So we should be in a commanding position to close out this match, as Obstagoon can tank 2 Hydro Cannons from a non-Shadow Swampert. They do have a lot of energy here. I can tank one of any move. That's the Hydro Cannon. We do survive that, and now they should be at the second Hydro Cannon here. I don't have to shield this, so you know what? I actually won't. I am going to be going for the Night Slash. Night Slash will be doing some pretty solid damage here, so it does force that final shield. They're trying to Mud Shot down, but Obstagoon is too bulky. They're not able to farm down. They throw right on the CMP tie. I am more than happy to shield this up. This Night Slash will be taking out the Swampert, and from here we have a Alolan Muck in the back. They bring back in Clefable. We're going for the Sludge Wave. The opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. And that clinches the 5-0 set and puts us within striking range for Veteran. And hopping into the first set from the next day, Umbreon lead, we have two better responses in back, so we're going to save switch into the Obstagoon and we bait out Talonflame. And Talonflame is exactly why we run Hyper Beam on this team. Talonflames have a tendency to not want to shield the first move from Obstagoon, because what if it's a Night Slash, and what if I get the boost? We are charging up and now we're going for the Hyper Beam. This will be doing big damage if it lands, which it does, taking out the Talonflame and winning a switch advantage. And after seeing they have a Venusaur in the back, that Hyper Beam also wins us the game, as we will be able to align the Venusaur onto the Alolan Muck, which hard walls it, and the Umbreon onto the Scrafty. We can very safely let this go down. Obstagoon has done his job, and now we bring in the Alolan Muck. Frenzy Plant is not going to be doing nearly enough damage. We do not have to respect it whatsoever. My only concern here is to watch for a catch, so we're going to overfarm, and now we're going for the Dark Pulse. This will be taking them out if they decide not to shield. They let it go, they bring in Umbreon, we bring in Scrafty, and the opponent concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, and this time we have a Talonflame on the lead, and this is a lot scarier, as Talonflame will get to their first charge move a turn before we do, and it could be the Flame Charge or the Brave Bird. I call the bait, but it's the Brave Bird that does huge damage. They save switch into Greedent, and we're going to bring out our Scrafty. Now, Scrafty does have a dominating matchup here versus Greedent. We are going to be going for the Power-Up Punch to boost our counters, and then we're going to go for a very aggressive farm down. I want to try and leave with a lot of energy if possible, so when the Talonflame comes back in, I'll be able to threaten it with some boosted foul plays. Greedent is incredibly spammy. They are going for body slam after body slam here, but I'm hopeful I should be able to farm down. But if they are able to reach a move, I am more than willing to commit the shield, but they're not able to. So we do leave with a little bit of health, and we leave with just shy of 2 foul plays. Back in comes the Talonflame. I throw a counter, and now we're going for the first foul play here. This will be doing a chunk of damage, and we do get the shield. I throw one more counter, and now we're going for a second foul play. This will be getting the second shield or getting them quite low, and they actually decide to let it go. I am going to be bringing in Obstagoon here. I want to get ahead on energy for whatever's in back, and this could be a Brave Bird. They've shown they like to do it. We shield up, and it is the Brave Bird, and they have their own Obstagoon in the back, and this is very scary. We do not have Cross Chop. We have to go for the Night Slash and hope, and they do shield. That is so big for us. The opponent did not know that we did not have Cross Chop. And now we're just going to try and switch into the Alolan Muck. We're able to do so, and we get to the Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave takes out the Obstagoon. They bring back in Talonflame, but they're not able to farm down. And we are able to get a win despite a disastrous start. Hopping into the next match, and we have a Nidoqueen lead. And Nidoqueen is the toughest Pokemon for this team to see, as every Pokemon on the team loses to Nidoqueen, so it's a definite team effort. They're staying in though, which is good. They go for the Poison Fang, and they have a Scrafty in back, and I'm not able to reach the Hyper Beam. At this point, I recognize I'm not going to win this match, and I do end up cutting my losses. Nidoqueen lead plus Scrafty in back is a combination I have yet to beat with this team. Alright, still 2-1 in the set though, and we have an Articuno lead in Game 4. Unfortunately, we do get outpaced, so they will be able to debuff us here, but I'll be able to fire back. We go for the Dark Pulse right away. Dark Pulse, even when debuffed, will do a chunk of damage, and now we're going to safe switch into the Obstagoon. And Obstagoon able to outpace and is going to be able to get to the Night Slash. Night Slash does get the shield, so hopefully they're weak in the back. We are going to shield up, and we'll have to see what they bring in. And they bring in Cresselia, so they weren't actually particularly weak in the back. So we are going to start spamming out these Night Slashes. Unfortunately, because of the debuff, they're not doing as much as they usually would. We are outside of Moonblast range, so I don't have to shield, and they go for a Grass Knot. You know what? Honestly, that's 100% fine. We're just going to farm up quite a bit, and we're just going to shield this, as this is probably going to be the Moonblast. But they bait me again. I'm actually going to aggressive swap in Muck. We're going to save that energy for later, and they reach another move. And here, Moonblast will hurt. I should barely survive it, but they Grass Knot me again. So at this point, I'm thinking this has to be a Grass Knot Future Sight Crest, which they do exist. They're very rare, but they do exist. The Empoleon is trying to farm us down, but we get to a Dark Pulse. That is so nice. This will be doing big damage onto the Empoleon. We do get farmed down, which is less than ideal, but I still have a very healthy Scrafty, and Scrafty can tank whatever they throw. They blind through the Hydro Cannon, so it's only neutral, which is pretty nice, and we're able to farm down the Empoleon. They bring back in Cresselia, and we are going to be going for the foul play, and I should be safe here, because they should have Grass Knot and Future Sight, so we should be in a pretty good spot. I'm totally fine with staying in here. We can definitely tank a Grass Knot. But they had Moonblast! They had Moonblast the whole time! I'm so confused! I don't understand why they kept Grass Knotting me. Articuno comes back in, Obstagoon able to counter down, and back in comes the Cresselia, but Obstagoon has a big energy lead. We are going to be able to reach the back-to-back Night Slashes. That will take out the Cresselia, and that is a good game. We are now 3-1, and I'm hoping that if we win the final match, we'll gain enough elo to hit Veteran. We have the Alolan Muck Mirror in the final match. We are going to save switch into the Obstagoon, and we're met with Scrafty. This is very rough, and we don't sneak a counter through. Oh, this is so bad. They go for the power-up punch, and because we don't sneak, we're not able to get to the Hyper Beam, and we're forced to go for 2 double-resisted Night Slashes. The opponent knows we're short. They decide not to commit the shield, and all that energy goes to waste. So this is an absolutely terrible start to a match that I need to win if I'm going to be able to hit Veteran. Here, my thinking is, I'm going to just Poison Jab all the way down with the Alolan Muck. We'll have to take a lot of damage, but we should be able to survive any moves they throw at us, farm down, and leave with some energy. They go for the foul play. That gets me a lot lower than expected, and here I make a misplay. I should have thrown the Sludge Wave. I'm only getting to 1 move. Sludge Wave does more, but instead I go for the Dark Pulse. We bring in Scrafty, and they have Shadow Swampert in the back. Shadow Swampert as opposed to the regular gives me a win con here. It's a lot easier to counter down a Shadow Swampert. We are going straight power up punch, and we are making no attempts to hide it. We are going to shield up the Hydro Cannon, and we're going for the second power up punch. My hope is that maybe they decide not to shield, which they don't. The opponent doesn't want to shield power up punches, and that is so good for me, as they're not going to be able to get to 3 moves. They just go for an Earthquake, recognizing they can't get to more moves, and now I'm just going to keep ramping up these counters. The one thing I'll have to watch for is a potential Sludge Wave. We are doing so much damage to the Muck. We're able to get off another power-up punch. And here, I'm going to have to catch very shortly. We swap onto the Alolan Muck and we catch the move. Was it the Sludge Wave? It was the Sludge Wave. We're able to catch it. We bring back in Scrafty. The opponent concedes the match and we get our 4-1. And as you can see from the screenshot, we were able to hit it exactly 2,500 elo on the dot. We were able to achieve the veteran rank. All in all, I had an absolute blast running this team. I would say it does have more viability than I expected, given that it's 3 dark types. To be fair, if you run into a lot of Nidoqueens and Escavaliers, the team's probably going to struggle, but it's a team that I do really enjoy running, and I'm happy that I was able to have this much success with it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.